Hello, everyone. Well, today we are going to taste out some Armagnacs. And it's going to be mostly domestically available Armagnacs, which makes it ever more compelling. So the deal is that the Roaming Road / Wayward Cask folks, which I think it's basically Starlight, did a fire sale. I think it still might be going on. I have to double check, but they put a big discount on if you bought 6 bottles. So I got a whole bunch of stuff, and an extra big discount if you spend enough money to get free shipping. There was that too. So I grabbed a bunch of things, and here were the Armagnacs I got. I got a Sanson from '82, which is birth year yak for me. Yay! And 2 from the Domaine Decame in Ténarèze, which I'm gonna be hard pressed not to call the Domaine Decame because I'm 13 years old. So yeah, we're gonna taste these out, and I'm gonna give them a score for you. And also because it's just been sitting in the back of my cabinet looking sad, I'm also gonna review this authentic spirits Domaine Moro from 1988. As a kind of run. The other reason I wanted to throw this in was because the proofages on some of these get a little bit scary, and I want something to kind of warm me up. Especially because, I've been taking care of small children for the last couple of days. In fact, my wife is right now out with my 7-year-old, so that I can record this thing. And I haven't been doing a lot of drinking, so I may have to ease into it a little bit, and hopefully that Mouréou will do that. And here's bottle number 3. Yeah, these Decames were not expensive, so if they are good, they are buys, especially with the sale. And 21, yeah, 21. All right, we are all set. Let's go. Starting with the authentic spirits. What is this? I have not looked into the details of any of these. Domaine Moro, 1988, bottled 2025. So you're talking, math on camera. We're in the 30s. We're in the high 30s with this. 46.3% ABV. I have no idea where the estate is or what the grape makeup is, but let's just stick our nose in and see what we got. Yeah. So we're on like Christmas spices. We're on a lot of Christmas spices with this. Cinnamon, nutmeg, a little clove, a little cardamom. There is a little bit of a figginess creeping through too. A little bit of fruitcake, figs, prunes, raisins. It's not golden raisins. We're talking just like the little sun-kissed things in the red box. A little bit of a sweet tobacco thing. What kind? We're not quite at Black Cavendish. We're not at that level yet. We're more at like a Stowed Virginia kind of level of sweetie tobacco. There's a little bit of like a musty cellar thing going on here. So it's a musty cellar. There's some moisture everywhere. There's some mushrooms growing in the floorboards, and like. There's a little bit of chopped up furniture in there, a little like a chopped up bench or something. But really, a lot of this is we're on Christmas spices. That's really the emphasis here for me. Yeah, a little Darjeeling tea, a little black pepper, very classic yak profile. Let's see what we got on the palate. super crushable. I don't think this is expensive either. Just a lovely crushable it's a winter. It's a 3-season yak. You don't want to be sipping this one in the summer, but anytime during that 3 seasons, crack this thing out. Just very. Again, we're on the Christmas spices scale of the spectrum. Very cinnamon stick and allspice, fruit cake, coffee cake, cardamom, clove, kind of. We're in that spectrum. Tea leaves, stewed Darjeeling. Little bit more of that. There's that dessert tobacco thing is still there, but it's less pronounced on the palate. Yeah, dried fruit, figs, prunes, raisins. Little touch of lime peel, actually. That's fun. Very much follows the nose. That musty cellar thing is back. Got a few more mushrooms thrown in there this time. The chopped up furniture thing is not there. The tea has kicked up a little bit more. I'm getting more black tea elements on this. I mean, nice texture, solid little finish. There's a couple of flowers kept floating around in there. They stick around reasonably well. I mean, it's a lovely little all-rounder. It's a little bit of a jack of all spades. And again, just kind of a yak. I feel like I could reach for this just about any time for any occasion, except maybe in like mid-July. I'm going to give this some water. We'll come back to it. The session starts off well. All right, let's move on to the first of the Wayward casks and the oldest. Look at the color on this. Jesus. They may have just bottled this for the color. That would be unfortunate. This was also not expensive. Sancin, Bas-Armagnac. 42 years old. It is a 1982. Cask number 244142. 86.6% alcohol by volume. And I will put further information down below as I get it. But yeah, birth year Armagnac, which is getting rarer and rarer and rarer for me these days. I was going to hold on to this until my birthday, but I felt obligated to do a review of this while it's still out there. Let's see what they got. Again, not expensive, so yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting a whole lot from this, to be honest. Like a 40-plus year old Armagnac for not a whole lot of money, but let's see what we got. Okay. A lot of tea leaves and a lot of just. What is that? It's a mix of like ground up dark chocolate, like serious, like 90% dark chocolate, topped off with a little bit of like what is that? I want to say Ovaltine, but that's not it. I got it. Carob. You know the little the little carob candies with the nuts in them? That's what this smells. So yeah, crush some of those up. Crush up some really serious dark chocolate. Put them together with some black tea leaves, and that's basically what this smells like. There is a little bit of like a lemon peel that's been covered in like old mud kind of thing going on. Certainly some black pepper. And there's an umami character to this, but it isn't traditional like mushroomy stuff. It's more like a little dab of not soy, like hoisin sauce. Let's go with that. Little dab of hoisin sauce. Not a ton of fruit on this. There's like one mashed up dirty fig and like a little, like you took an orange and zested like once, and that's all the zest you got, and you put into this. So yeah, we're very heavy on the darkness, on the chocolatey, tea leavesy side of things, and that's okay on the palate. Interesting. Okay, one more time. Hold on. Ooh. Funk of funk. Here's the thing. When I first popped this, it wasn't doing the funk of funk. It would very much follow the nose. It was very teas and chocolaties. But now, geez, I like. In some ways, that's a lot of what this is on the arrival. You are getting black tea leaves. You are getting ground up chocolate. You are getting a little bit of dirty fig, black pepper. A lot of what I just named, right? Some old mud. Oh. And then in the middle, what the hell is that? I don't know if I can break this down for you. Okay, so I'm going to try. I'm going to see what I can do. Take like a funky beer. No, we're not going to start with a funky beer. Think about like a Belgian triple or something. Start with that point. And imagine that like you just wanted to age it a little bit. So it's got a little bit of funky oxidation on it. And then you squirted like a little bit of lemon juice in there, and you maybe like a little bit of lime peel, some citrusy elements. And then for fun, you took some potting peat and you kind of threw it into your triple and citrus kind of mixture. But there's also florals. So like there's some like peonies and blossoms kind of thrown in there too. This gets wild on the mid palate. Yeah, it's like chocolate and carob up front, and then it just gets very weird but fun. It's quite dry. I'm going to tell you right now, there are going to be some people who don't like this. It just gets very, very funky funk on the middle. That kind of like oxidative ale meets lemon juice meets topsoil thing, combined with this, the halo of dark chocolate and all that stuff, and the hoisin sauce as well. Jeez. Okay, so maybe especially in the mid palate, there's some hoisin sauce happening. That's a lot. I think I really like this. I think I really like this. It's there's multiple kinds of rancio out there, right? This is splitting the difference between like funky rancio and umami rancio, with maybe a little bit of like a chocolate rancio thrown in there too, if that's like a thing. Dry, funky, weird, a little bit sour. A lot of people are not going to like this, but I think it's working for me. It maintains its balance. It's certainly got complexity. I'm going to take a step up. It's not just that people are going to like this, are not going to like this, but some people are going to think this is flawed. I do not think it's flawed. I just think it's weird, but in like a fun, in a fun, weird, entertaining, kind of chewy way. All right, anyways, let's move on to the Domaine Decame from the Ténarèze. This is a 2008. It is a 16-year-old, recently bottled, 53.5% alcohol by volume. Cask number 2020 224191. Sorry. Yeah, this was, by the standards of Armagnac of this age, dirt friggin' cheap. So if this is good, kind of a buy. Okay. Big boy. What is that? Yeah, first of all, it smells big. But it's hard to describe how exactly. It's a mix of, like, there's a lot of stewed peach on this. A lot of, like, white pepper and cinnamon. Jeez, what else am I smelling? Some plum. More peach, more nectarine. Golden raisin, sure. Some apricot-y stuff, a little bit nutty. Here's a curveball. It smells a little bit like a Sauterne, which I'm not mad about. Some oaky elements. Stewed black tea. Well, English breakfast tea. More cinnamon, black pepper. Little bit of a bright orange thing, like a little bit of a loose flowers kind of component. But yeah, quite fruit driven, but also very hefty without, how do I put this? It's not a fruit bomb. It's just a hefty, a big boy of a young Armagnac that is where the fruit feels like it's the center of the performance, even though it's not the only performer on stage, right? It's not a big fruit basket explosion. Yeah, it's peach, apricots, raisin, some other dried stuff. But it's accentuated by lots of other things. I mean, yeah, from the nose already, this is a buy. But let's see, on the palate. Total steal. Oh, yeah. Still pretty young. I'm not young. What am I talking about? We're talking like, we're still talking about something that's has grown into itself. You're not just getting spirit and oak and they are together and it's nice, but they're just side by side. This thing has integrated. It has grown into itself. You're not yet. What I mean by still young is you're not yet getting those weird tertiary characteristics, the rancy or whatever the hell you want to call it. If you want that, buy the Sanson. But what this is just a fabulous combination of a lot of wood, a lot of tannins and structure, with a lot of kind of fruit to kind of back it up. This is terrific. We bring a lot of red fruit onto this, actually. Plum, red plum, but also fig, prune, peach again, apricot again. What is the Cornelian cherry, which is not a cherry, but it's in this. A little bit of like a ripe strawberry thing. Some bright... there's a little bit of bright orange, not too much, but it's adding some color. A little bit of lemon lime peel, but not too much. Black pepper, English breakfast tea. Some nice woody grip on this. A little bit of mixed Christmas spice. big boy. I mean, it's really filling up the whole mouth. It could be just be the strength of this. This is what, 53.5%. So it's not, it's not getting around. Feels big in the mouth. Holds on really well. Like this is not doing any worse in terms of like sustaining on the finish than the little Mouréou was. So I'm well impressed with this. Good job, little Came. Let's give you some water and see what happens. 1, 2. We'll probably need 3. We need 3. 3 squirts. And let's move on. Now, I will be honest, this was not the best value in the case. I threw it in because of the strength, basically. This is from the same estate, Domaine Decame, in the Ténarèze. It is a 2001, aged 21 years. So, bottle like probably 3 years before the other one. Cask 224184, and the headliner on this is the ABV is 58.85%, which not uncommon in like cognac because they double distill, but Armagnac does of course a single distillation on a very, very short column still. You very, very rarely see Armagnacs get up to the high 50s. So I kind of had to see, like, this could just be a hot mess of a spirit, but these have done pretty well so far. Let's see what we got. Here's a surprise. It actually smells, despite being older by 5 years than the last came, this actually smells brighter. Yeah, we're fairly high-toned on this, actually. Yeah, peach, apricot, raisin, bright raisin, some orange peel, a little bit of lemon peel. Again, like I can't not think about Sauternes with this, or maybe like dessert Riesling. There's a little bit of that, but I mean, the woodiness is, tells you that's not what it is, but it's got that energy. A little bit nutty, and on the wood side, yeah, English breakfast tea. You can tell it's older. You're getting a little bit of like musty attic with this. You're getting some more complex, like sour fruit notes. Like the strawberries are still there, but now it's like unripe strawberry, sour red fruit. The florals, we're more leading in a rosy direction here, although you're getting some blossoms and stuff too. Wildflowers. Lightly honeyed. It's too subtle to say what kind of honey, but it's in there. Almost a molasses component. But again, like it feels like you've taken all these things and you've run them through like a high pass filter, if that makes sense. It's bright. It's high toned. It's a little bit of like dirt, for lack of a better word. Nice dirt on the palate. Oh. I can kind of see why the Starlight folks picked this. In the grand old days of, 2022 or 3, whatever it must have been. Bourbon fans, rye fans, come on in. You will like this. I mean, just big, old, hot Kentucky hug of an Armagnac. Lots of spices. Cinnamon, cardamom, allspice, clove, all the dessert spices. Lots of woodiness, musty attic, stewed tea. Are you still getting the fruitiness, the kind of Sauternes-y, peachy, apricot-y, orangey stuff? Yeah, that's still kind of in there, but it feels like it's pulled back a little bit to kind of let a distinct kind of milk tea meets like spice cake, coffee cake kind of thing come forward. And I'm not mad about that. This is delicious. This is super duper delicious. And it might actually have the best mouth presence of anything here. Possibly rivaled by the Sanson. I'm not sure. There's a little bit of a sour twist in there. Just a little bit of like a sour orange component to this. This is good. I like this. That unripe strawberry thing too, as well. But also floral. Yeah, I mean it's a big old delicious bourbony oak bomb. But you start paying attention to the details, and it's still got it's still got a lot of the interesting little nuances that was making the nose so interesting. It's like for the palate, you just took the high pass filter off and just kind of let the whole thing hit you. Wham. Really good. I am happy with this flight. I really am. I do not regret buying the 59% Armagnac. No, I do not. 3, 4. It'll do 5. It'll easily do 5. All right, let's run back through these. I hate to be predictable. I hate to be the picking the strongest ABV wise of the bunch is my favorite because it's just such a bourbon-y thing to do, but that's kind of where we might be headed here. Although keep an eye on the Sanson. This could be dangerous. I will say I feel like we've got 2 tiers here. We've got these 2, and then we got these 2. Not to say I don't like these 2, but they're not in the same place, you know? Okay, back to the Mouréou. See what this has got. So, yeah, okay, this has now picked up a kind of Aunt Jemima meets marmalade kind of thing. I mean, the spicy element that was kind of ruling this before, it's still there. Like, it's still very cinnamony and clovey. But, yeah, it's the pancake syrup and the marmalade have really kind of pushed their way to the fore, and I'm not mad about that. It's a little bit musty now, too. Fun. Okay. I don't think it's going to win the flight, but I do like this. On the palate. Oh, pretty. I mean, very much behaving as kind of it was before. In any other flight, this would be like towards the top, and I don't think it's going to happen here. But I love it anyways. Just a really nice balance of Armagnac-y stuff. You got some fruit, you got some spice, tannins, grip on the back end, texture. I'm going to give this an 87 flat. That's what this is. And well worth a grab if you were shopping on the anywhere that authentic spirits are available. Sanson. Moving on. I would like to get this done before my family comes back. Here we go. Yeah, we are still on like dark chocolate and tea leaves mostly, which I don't mind. And that carob thing, you know, the carob covered peanuts or something. Nice. There's still that little hint of umami. I want to see what this does on the palate, though, because the mid palate on this was wild before, and I want to see if it's still doing that on the palate. It's still doing that. Jesus. Oh. Yeah, that stanky beer thing in the middle of this is so much fun. I'm sure a lot of people are not going to like this. And if it didn't have other things going on, if it was just the stanky beer thing on the middle of the palate, with the squirt of lemon and the hoisin sauce, if it was just that, I don't think this would work. But it's still got the dark chocolate and the tea leaves and the kind of topsoil potting peat kind of component thing, making this work. It's weird. Do not get me wrong. This is a very weird Armagnac. But I think it's quite good. Geez, what do I score this? I think the finish is a little bit longer and a little bit better with water. I'm going to call this like an 88 plus with a beer. Because you need to be aware of what you're getting into with this. Do not just look at the score and think you're going to love this. You have to think, do I want my old 40-year-old Armagnac to be interrupted by a funky beer on the mid-palate? Because if you say yes, then you should buy this. If you say, no, that sounds disgusting, you probably shouldn't buy this. 88 plus beer. Sorry. Nope. I don't have to panic yet. I thought that might have been a message. All right. Here we go. We're starting with the Cames. Here's the baby. Pretty much where it was, honestly. You're getting a little bit more of the kind of red fruit component. I was getting more on the palate. A little bit of strawberry, a little bit of red plum. But a lot of it is still kind of in that kind of Sauternes territory of peach apricot, kind of vague nuttiness, orange peel. The sense of bigness has receded with water. Not sure if I'm fond of that. I don't hate it. I don't mind, but it doesn't smell like such a big boy now that it's been put down to circa 40% or so. On the palate, It did that thing that sometimes happens. Sometimes when you give water to something, it doesn't necessarily get better, but it does change. The way this has changed, which happens, is the first sip becomes underwhelming, but it sticks around, and the second sip kind of builds on it, so that now, instead of just a good spirit that's sort of consistently good, you have to really keep sipping on it to get the same effect. Which I don't mind, because this is a good Armagnac. Pretty much keeps the same profile as before. It's very... red. It's got the red fruit thing. It's got the Sauternes-y thing, but it's still earthy and woody and feels like fresh. Feels young. I can't help but think of the cask strength Terraquets, which have been for years my benchmark of where you should start with Armagnac drinking. But this would also be a great place to start with Armagnac drinking. It's not expensive, it's big, and it's very, very good. I'm going to give this a flat 87. It does change with water, but I think the quality stays consistent. So 87 flat. I think it ties the Mouréou. It ties the Mouréou. Oh, they're both really good. All right, but it must now contend with its big brother. All right, Came 2001. Now that we brought it down to size. There's a little bit of a petrichor character coming out of this now. Like a little bit of a wet rocks after rainstorm thing. And I'm not mad. But it's still very high tone. There's a little bit of a root beer component coming out now. Bright, citrusy, fruity, but it also brings some spiciness. A nice little development on the nose when you add water. Okay, on the palate. It's hard to argue with this. It's just a really good Armagnac, and it's a bourbon-friendly Armagnac. If you have some bourbon-y friends and you're trying to convert them, this is a great pick. I mean, and especially with a sale, it's a lot cheaper than a lot of bourbons that kind of present with this level of quality. Big, fat palate destroyer of an Armagnac. Spicy, earthy, but it brings the fruit at the same time. Friendly, brown sugar, teas, grip, grip, grip. Is it beating the Sanson? I think it's beating the Sanson. Hold on. The Sanson is weird, and I love it. I love the Sanson, but it doesn't feel as integrated it doesn't feel like as pure an experience as the 2001 came. In the paradox is, I think the Sanson is more memorable because it is very, very weird. But I think this is a little bit better. 89 points. 89 freaking points for the Came 2001, and that is your flight. So, in last place, but still very, very good, and that's awesome, by the way, is the Mouréou 1988 and the Came 2008 16-year-old, both at 87. Really, really worth a hard look. They're just both very, very good Armagnacs. The Mouréou may be a little bit more traditional, but for the price point and the U.S. availability, I have to insist, the Came 16 is worth a look. And then the Sanson, I told you about it. I gave you your warning. buy at your own risk. 88 plus beer emoji. And then your winner of the day is the Cum 2001 21-year-old. 89 points. Big Armagnac. Bourbony Armagnac, but if that sounds like your thing, worth your time and effort. And yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching, and cheers.